There's so many more examples. I mean, for example, on 9/11, I mean, right after 9/11, the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, lied and said that the air was safe to breathe. And then they sent all these first responders to clean up the dust and look for survivors. And because of that, a lot of people have cancer now and are slowly dying because of that lie by the EPA. Do you see James Randi condemning that? Do you see Michael Shermer condemning that? No, you don't. Because it doesn't matter if they lie. It doesn't matter if people die. The establishment is blameless to them. What kind of a skeptic is that? What kind of a human being is that? Another example, the pharmaceutical industry. A lot of people die every year from pharmaceutical drugs. And they kill people. It's not just alternative medicine that's dangerous. Pharmaceutical drugs are dangerous too. A lot more people die of pharmaceutical drugs every year than from herbs or homeopathy. But where's their criticism toward that? It's not there. Yet if somebody uses homeopathy or acupuncture or some alternative medicine remedy, I mean, then all of a sudden they're attacking it and criticizing it as dangerous. Even though, I mean, if anyone dies from that, it's so little. I mean, especially compared to the people who die from pharmaceutical drugs. So it's like they have all this criticism toward that, but not to something bigger. I mean, obviously, you know, their ethics and morals and view of reality is totally messed up. I mean, not only are these people one-sided, but their view of reality is just totally whacked. It's totally messed up. I mean, how can you claim to be a skeptic when you're totally blind to the faults of one side and totally looking for faults in the other side? I mean, that's not skepticism. That's not rationality. That's not fairness. That's just blind religious belief in one side. In this case, it's the establishment side, and that's just assuming that authority equals truth, which is not true. Authority is not equal truth. That the only people that believe that are people that are programmed. The gullible, non-thinking mind believes that authority equals truth. The free-thinking, independent mind does not believe that authority equals truth. So that right there tells you that these skeptics are not free thinkers. They are not independent thinkers. They are not rational people because they believe that authority equals truth. And so obviously they're not. They're programmed. They're not free thinkers at all. I mean, whatever their motivations are. I mean, they're definitely not free thinkers. They're definitely not truth seekers. They're definitely not rational people. They're definitely not objective people, and their actions prove it. It doesn't matter what they say or what they protest. I mean, the facts and their actions speak for themselves. So that's basically the simple reason why these skeptics are, I mean, these pseudo-skeptics are not real skeptics. And a true skeptic will question everything, will evaluate evidence, and use the scientific method properly. You see, these skeptics don't even use the scientific method, which is ironic because they tout science as though it were some type of religion or gospel that was the highest level of truth. But they don't even follow it, because when you follow the scientific method, you base your hypothesis on the facts, and if the facts contradict your hypothesis, then you update your hypothesis to fit the facts, to fit the data. But they don't do that. What they do is they start with a hypothesis, which is that all paranormal stuff is bunk, all conspiracy claims are bunk, all establishment claims are truth, and then they fit all the data into that. So, but they don't follow the scientific method, because when the data contradicts their hypothesis, they do not update their hypothesis to fit the data. Instead, they deny the data or lie about it or just filter it out to fit their hypothesis. A real scientist, a real skeptic, a real rational person would update their hypothesis to fit the data. But they don't do that. They do the opposite. They change the data to fit their hypothesis, or they filter it out, or they deny it. And that is why they're not even scientific or rational. And that's very obvious. If you look at all their writings, if you look at all their debates, they don't accept any evidence that contradicts their beliefs, that all paranormal and all is bunk, all conspiracy is bunk, everything the establishment says is true and to be defended without question. There's a ton of data that challenges that, a mountain of it, but they don't accept it. They don't factor it in. They just deny it, ridicule it, filter it out, and deny it. So obviously they're not scientific in that sense, despite their claim to worship science as some ultimate tool that is the highest level of truth to them. So that's very ironic. I mean, these guys are just so easy to expose and debunk, and it's surprising that they don't see their own folly. But oh well, I guess we're nobody's perfect, huh? Anyways, I hope I've made my point clear, and I hope that makes sense. And if you've got any questions for me, post it on my SCEPCOP forum. Okay? See you next time. Take care. Bye. Now, as we all know, actions speak louder than words. For example, if I told you I would never steal from you, and then the next day I broke into your house and tried to steal something, what would you believe? My words or my actions? Or say I told you I'm not tired and I'm not sleepy, but then the next second I fall asleep and doze off. What are you going to believe? My words or my actions? Or say I told you that I don't like chocolate ice cream, but every time you see me go into Baskin-Robbins, you see me buying chocolate ice cream. Then what are you going to believe? My words or my actions? Likewise, with pseudoskeptics, it doesn't matter if they say that they're logical or rational or critical thinkers or true skeptics. I mean, it's their actions that count. If they act like a pseudoskeptic, if they do what a pseudoskeptic does, if they think like a pseudoskeptic, then they are a pseudoskeptic. Plain and simple. I've been debating these pseudoskeptics since around 1999, and I can tell you that ultimately it's a pointless exercise, because it's kind of like playing against a chess computer that never admits that it's been checkmated even after you checkmate it, and then instead it moves the king illegally or moves illegal pieces. It moves pieces illegally after it's been checkmated, and then so it never admits to losing and always makes illegal moves after it's lost. I mean, who would play against a chess computer that does that? I mean, nobody would. It's a pointless exercise. It's not fair. They don't play by the rules. They never admit to losing. And that's why it's ultimately a futile exercise, because they always start with the same core beliefs and end with the same core beliefs.